What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rosie Wrestling. I'm Safe.
And I'm Massa.
And today we're going to be reviewing Backlash that took place last night. It was the first dual-branded pay-per-view for a while, for almost like a year and a half. So let's go right into it. The first match, we're not even going to go through the pre-show. That's just filler BS. First match, Miz versus Seth Rollins. The perfect way to start off this show. Fantastic match, easily the match of the night.
Yeah, these guys have been starting off, the IC title has been starting off the show a lot recently, and they always steal the show. These guys are amazing. There's not really much to say. I like the sequence with like the knee to the post. Seth Rollins did really well selling for that in the figure four situation. There's a lot of false finishes. And yeah, all in all, it was a really great match.
Yeah, Seth Rollins kicked out of 2 skull-crushing finishes, which that's not something you see all the time. Coming into this match, I wasn't really too excited. I knew it was going to be a good match, but the predictability factor kind of, took away from it. But I still think they did perfect. And a great way to start off the show, but we just went downhill from here. Nia Jax then defended her women's title against Alexa Bliss, and for me, this was a pretty decent match. I don't think it was as good as their match at Mania. Not that was a show stealer. And I thought it was a good decision to have Jax retain, so at least they got the booking right. Apparently, Alexa did injure her shoulder, so I'm interested to see who is going to be feuding with Nia Jax after this program.
Yeah, and I do want to see other people getting the chance. But the next match we have is Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy for the U.S. Championship. I didn't really like this match. I thought it was typical Randy, slow,
methodical style. I thought that this match would be a lot better than it was.
Right.
Like, I was really hyping this up in the preview, but really it was, a very slow. Randy Orton at this point, he just needs to take a break.
Yeah.
I know he's gonna start doing a lighter schedule, but I think for him to really refresh his character, he just needs to take like 6 or 7 months off, because he just does not look into it at all. And Jeff Hardy was trying his best, but there's only so much he can do.
Right, Jeff Hardy was trying so hard, you could clearly tell with facial expressions, but he's not the challenger, so it's just, the situation didn't really work. Randy clearly doesn't care.
But at least Jeff Hardy ended up retaining the title, so they didn't give it back to Randy.
But the next segment, which actually was a pretty fun one, it was, I think, a good use of these people. We have Elias performing a concert, and then he never actually got to perform it, and he performed it on the post show, but we have the New Day come out, interrupt him. We had Aiden English and Rusev interrupt him. No Way Jose with Titus Worldwide and Breezango with the conga line, and Bobby Roode in the end just to top it all off, because Bobby Roode and Elias do have some beef going on with that whole throat thing. He wasn't really selling it, so I think he's fine now. And he did, the glorious DDT in the ring. I actually thought this was a good segment.
Yeah, like you said, it was a great use of the people. I mean, a lot of these fans actually pay to see guys like the New Day, guys like Elias, guys like Rusev Day. So at least they might not be used in terms of a match, but at least they get to be on a show, and probably one of the highlights of the night.
Right.
Also, so in the conga line as well.
I love this.
The last person in the conga line, I believe, or second to last, was Lance Anoa'i, who's actually Roman Reigns' direct cousin. I think he's Alpha's son, and he's actually a independent wrestler. We actually got to see him when we went to go meet HBK.
Yeah, we actually saw him multiple times.
Yeah, so we got to see him. We got to see him wrestle. So that was pretty cool. I barely caught it.
Very talented guy.
So yeah, that's pretty. I mean, that was a pretty mark out moment for me. Just seeing that. But moving on to Big Cass versus Daniel Bryan. I didn't expect this to be a 5-star classic. We're gonna remember this forever, because Big Cass isn't the best worker, but I still think we should have gotten a more of a David Goliath story. Kane and Rey Mysterio have put on good matches before. Big Show and Rey Mysterio have put on good matches before. Shawn Michaels and Diesel have put on good matches before. This was not that. This for me was boring. It was quick. It did nothing for both guys. Daniel Bryan gets the win. No one cares. Big Cass gets the loss. I mean, fine, he got his heat back after the match. But for me, I felt like Big Cass should have won dirty here.
Right, and I feel like the Big Cass is coming back, and he got some momentum with those promos. He's definitely improved. I didn't really care about Big Cass until those promos. I'm like, okay, this guy seems like he can be a big star. But then just the rug was just swept under him, and it just was kind of stupid. I feel like the end sequence wasn't that great. Daniel Bryan, I'm not going to blame him, but, he could have done better. They just didn't have any time to do anything. And yeah, I'm like, why does Daniel Bryan really need this win?
Yeah, I know a lot of people are happy that Bryan won, and fair enough, but at least give us a better match. And give us more back and forth action.
Kind of made him look weak.
Personally, I felt Cass should have just won dirty. It definitely shouldn't have won clean. That would have been worse than the finish we saw. But overall, did nothing for me. But this is going to be a longer program, so hopefully they get to right their wrongs. Moving on now to Carmella versus Charlotte. This, I think, was the worst match of the night.
There were so many rest holds. That
I was one of the slowest matches I've seen.
And Charlotte is such a talented competitor. She could do so much better. And Carmella, it's not like she's terrible. It's she can do something. I just don't know what happened. That was so confusing. I don't even know.
Yeah, honestly, this was not a good first title defense for Carmella.
Right.
She's gotten a lot of criticism over not being a good wrestler, and fair enough. You don't have to be fantastic because her character is still very good. But still, this was just an awful match, and I'm starting to even think Charlotte might just be overrated because, to be honest with you, over the past year, I can't think of one great Charlotte match except the one against Asuka. The rest were just whatever matches. So honestly, I feel like Charlotte needs to also step up her game. Also, Asuka lost her streak, and then Charlotte loses clean here. What was the point of that? The crowd was dead for this match. Even the commentators were dead at one point. There was actually 15 to 20 seconds where literally the commentators were just saying nothing. It was just rest holds. But yeah, overall, awful match. But the ending did make some sense. I feel like it would have been better if the Iconics came out.
But then it got worse with AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't understand why this is not the main event. This is the WWE Championship.
I'll tell you why it's not the main event. It's because it didn't give you a conclusive finish. So honestly, in hindsight, I think that it was probably a better decision not to put it as the main event because they want to give you a match that's at least we know that there's a winner. But overall for this match, I actually thought it was a good match.
Yeah, this was their best match so far, not including the one in Japan.
For sure. It was a slower match at the beginning, but it definitely picked up. There were some really cool sequences. I love the low blow
those are
stuff, when Shinsuke went for the low blow and then AJ went for the low blow, and then they both kicked each other in the nuts. I thought that was fantastic, but it ended up being a double count out. They both couldn't answer the count. Looking on Twitter, everyone seems to be in the same boat. Everyone did not like this ending. I think I am the minority. I think I'm the only person that watches WWE that actually is okay with this ending.
Right. I'm kind of, after seeing your point yesterday, I'm kind of in the middle. I don't hate this. I understand that I really do like I like long storylines, and I like where it's going, and I like that we're going to keep going with this, and maybe the matches have been getting better and better. So hopefully we do get a long, amazing bout. I just don't know. I don't trust WWE enough to leave us on the note that we want. I don't trust them to hold something for too long. They've done it before where it worked out, but again, I stopped trusting them after a while. So
I mean, for me, the criticism to the fans is, hey, you always complain that the storylines are weak. But here, I feel like we have a pretty interesting storyline. I mean, you start off at WrestleMania, AJ Shinsuke, they have mutual respect for each other. Shinsuke turns heel, he feels like he can't beat AJ in a clean way. He hits him in the nuts. The rest of the weeks is literally just full-out evil Shinsuke. AJ is so infuriated that he can't even keep his eyes on the prize, and they get double counted out at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Here, these guys, again, hate each other so much that they literally kick each other in the nuts and can't answer the count. Honestly, I feel like it makes sense, and I think that it should culminate at the Money in the Bank with Shinsuke winning the title. Now moving on to Lashley teaming up with Braun Strowman. I guess they've kind of been teammates for the last few weeks. Why wasn't Lashley Strowman's partner at Mania? But then we had them going against KO and Sami Zayn. This was a whatever match, but really, are they going to break up KO and Zayn?
No, I like them. I really like this duo. I feel like this actually gave Sami Zayn something to do. And they're just so funny together. And, you know, we kind of seen this before a few months ago around like Fastlane. And are they really just gonna, like, come on? I think that they're working well together. I think the bickering should have been between Braun and Lashley, because they're both two stars that you want to be eventual main eventers, or Braun kind of already is. And they're not doing anything, so let them fight against each other. We don't need another tag team. I understand that he probably misses Nicholas and wants someone to fill the void. So for the main event, a match that I was actually pretty excited for. I think the build has been pretty good, even though Samoa Joe has been, you know, out for like multiple injuries. They didn't lose any steam, but it was Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe. I don't know what happened in that match. I carried away.
I did not really like it. I thought it was an okay match. I didn't think it was the worst match of the night or anything like that. I think, to be honest, it was probably one of the better matches of the night.
Which is sad.
Yeah, which honestly is sad. But, you know, this was the main event. This was the match that I thought would steal the show. They didn't really do that. I'm so surprised, honestly, because Joe and Roman are such good workers.
Right.
I thought it was going to be a fantastic match.
And there's also some parts where I'm like, oh, this would have been a good spot to end it. Like in the Coquina Clutch, maybe Roman like passes out, gives the win to Joe. But the story isn't there. I feel like we know that Roman's going to win either way, but one spear, he's done. I didn't know. I just didn't like the end sequence. If it was my choice, I would have had Joe win by
it makes sense that Roman wins. I mean, he hasn't got a big win since the Chamber, so I do think I'm not against Roman winning, but I felt like it should have been more of an intense match,
right?
With more false finishes.
It was relatively short.
I wanted Samoa Joe to put up more of a fight. I felt like just one spear. It was just so predictable. I felt, you know, Samoa Joe was beating up Roman, and then Roman, you know, got the upper hand, got the spear, done. Like I just thought it was a typical Roman match, and that's not a knock on Roman. I just feel like that's. He just needs to reinvent himself because, listen, I mean, it's just not working. It's just not.
Right.
The fans were, you know, crapping all over this. There was fans leaving.
There were the "this is boring" chants.
Exactly. So I don't know what the future holds for Roman Reigns, but at least for Samoa Joe, he gets a clean slate on SmackDown, and we get to see him feud with a bunch of guys that we wanted to feud with. Overall, this Backlash show...
See, I had very low expectations for it. I didn't really care. Greatest Royal Rumble, it just happened. I didn't care. But the fact that it didn't even live up to my very, very low expectations is just pathetic. I think I've been watching since SummerSlam. This is definitely the worst pay-per-view I've seen, and that says a lot.
Yeah, this is the worst pay-per-view I've seen in a while.
And it's the first dual-branded pay-per-view, so this should have been a big deal. The fact that Greatest Royal Rumble also effed everything up, I don't know what they're gonna like. I'm excited for Money in the Bank, kind of, but I don't know what they're.
We're just gonna have to wait and see. They have to right all these wrongs because these matches were awful. Storytelling wasn't that good. I'm just glad the Miz and Rollins just had the standout.
They're always the MVP.
So yeah, Rollins. I mean, whatever they do with them now, Miz on SmackDown and Rollins on Raw, they definitely deserve something big because hey, they've actually been so good over this. The course of this year.
Right.
But tell us what you guys thought of Backlash in the comment section below.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Rosie Wrestling, and we'll see you guys in our next video. Bye!